Chiefs news, analysis, and opinion every day. The Kansas City Chiefs have signed the Cincinnati Bengals' former Nico Remigio. A little bit of a strange thing to say, I know, but give me a moment, we'll get there. The Chiefs have had a rash of injuries at the wide receiver position, with Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Sky Moore all going down in the very same practice, and it appears they have made a move because someone might be missing a few practices here. So the Kansas City Chiefs appear to have signed, though I haven't gotten word from the official Chiefs website yet, Kwamie Lassiter II out of Kansas. Now, what we're looking at here is his RAS score. It is not impressive. You can see that on screen, but it does have one of the most impressive composite speed scores I have ever looked at. We'll get to that in a moment, but who is Kwamie Lassiter II out of Kansas? He's a wide receiver. He's 5'10" and 7/10 tall, which is a 3 out of 10. He weighs 185 pounds, which is a 2.82 out of 10. He did 13 bench press reps, which is a 5.34 out of 10. 33-inch vertical, 10-foot broad jump, a 4.23 short shuttle, which is a pretty good score. A 7.323 cone drill, which top of my head, that might be worse than Trey Smith. And then he had a 4.52 40-yard dash, which is respectable, scoring 6.85 out of 10. However, he had a terrible 10-yard split with a 1.62 10-yard split, which grades out at 3.86. That said, so bad 40, terrible 10, but an elite 20-yard split on that with a 2.51. I've looked at a lot of RAS scores over the past couple of years. I've seen a lot of anomalies, a lot of strange things, including Creed Humphrey grading out as the perfect athlete. I don't know that I have seen anything like a 3.86 score for a 10-yard split, a 6.84 score or 8.5 score for a 40-yard dash, but a 9.8 score for the marker in the middle. If anyone knows of anything like that, let me know. That must have been an entertaining 40-yard dash to watch. He walked off the line, sprinted for 10 yards, and then decided to call it quits before the finish line there. So what are we getting into with Kwamie Lassiter? Not a whole lot at the NFL level, I should say, but he was an effective weapon for Kansas for a couple of years straight there. Was a freshman in 2017. 2018, he had 12 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown. Took it up a notch in 2019, going for 34 receptions, 352 yards, still the single touchdown. But in 2020, he had 43 receptions, 458 yards, a respectable 10.7-yard average, and 2 touchdowns, and cashed in for his super senior season 59 receptions, 653 yards, and 3 touchdowns, an 11.1-yard average there, giving him a total of 1,550 yards and 7 touchdowns on 148 receptions for his college career, seeing action in 48 games. But he did not do much of anything in the NFL. 2022, he was a UDFA for the Bengals, where he did not get a single target, played in 1 game. 2023, he had 1 target, 1 reception, 2 yards. Not very exciting, but I'm going to show you something in a moment that's why you come to this channel. I try to do as much deep diving as I can. So snap count-wise, equally as unimpressive. Played just 8 snaps as a rookie, 0 special teams. This is what is very, very confusing to me when I watch this athlete play. In the 2023 season, 5 snaps, on offense, but 0 on special teams. He played a little bit of an alternative league last year, not seeing any NFL action. The one thing that you really want to note here, this is already a 27-year-old athlete. So the good and the bad here. Mainly, I'm just going to highlight the good because I think there's no real use in talking about the negatives when what you're looking at is a wide receiver who has about a 0.5% chance of making the roster at this point in time. But there are some things here that are promising. So if he ends up making the practice squad instead of some other wide receiver, maybe there's not too much to be confused about. He is a slippery athlete with a north-south bent. What do I mean by that? He does like to dance on the field. But the moment he resets his feet, he is constantly having his intentions towards the end zone. So he will stop, he will stutter, he will jump backwards, like that famous Dante Hall meme from that Broncos game, right? Where he jumps backwards and two Broncos run into each other. The absolute most electric play I have ever seen live. But he's constantly looking to get upfield. He doesn't dance just to dance. He dances and resets the defense. That tells me he has very good vision. Also, he's not afraid to try stuff on the field. He does stuff that could get him in trouble in the NFL and probably will, if he makes a team at some point, get him in trouble in the NFL. But there are some interesting things to look at here. So he's got some preseason receptions, and he looks impressive on those preseason receptions, breaking tackles, taking multiple players to get him down, etc. You see in the 2022 season here, against the Rams, he had 5 receptions for 42 yards. Seems to be a bit of a preseason warrior type guy. Nika Remigio, a bit of a preseason warrior type guy with a very bad RAS score himself. In that rookie season against the against the Giants, he had 7 receptions for 91 yards and a 13-yard average. And the next year, the only game in which he stood out was against the Packers, where he went 6 for 33, a 5.5 yard possession receiver type score there. Now, what do I see in him? He has moments that will remind you of Dante Hall, but he did all of that from what I can find, all of that was done at the college level. That Dante Hall was very rare. That does not translate to the NFL. Very rarely does that translate to the NFL. He does remind me of Nika Remigio. He does remind me of a guy that if you can get the ball in his hands, he is very scrappy, and he's going to fight for every yard, and he appears to have pretty good ball control. It confuses me that he did not play any special teams for the Bengals, because looking at him, he looks like he could be a pretty good kick returner, and he has jelly for ankles. So he can start and stop, he can jump and go, he can do all of that stuff very, very well, which makes me think he could be a very good punt returner as well. Now, I don't think he's going to beat out Nika Remigio for the punt return spot here in Kansas City. I don't think he's going to beat out Nika Remigio or Brashard Smith for the kick return guys here in Kansas City. This is a player worth rooting for. He's going to be very fun to watch in camp. He's probably going to turn some heads. I think that watching him, I think that the ceiling for Sky Moore this year is probably a practice squad guy. Watching Kwamie Lassiter II, who has NFL bloodlines, that's why that name sounds so familiar. His father played 10 years in the NFL, I think. For the Cardinals, I believe, most of the time, if not all of the time. I think that this, just like I say about Nika Remigio, could be the type of guy that they thought they were getting with Sky Moore. Sky Moore has been tried at punt returner. You have to believe they would like to try Sky Moore at kick returner. You have to think they would like to try the idea of Sky Moore at kick returner. I don't think he gets there. This might make Sky more expendable sooner than not. Why? You want to give players a fair shake in training camp. It is possible that this man signed off the streets, already 27 years old, zero NFL experience, not zero, but zero NFL experience, comes in and looks better than Sky Moore in practice immediately. Catches passes in practice, Sky Moore did not immediately. Sky Moore was tried at punt returner again just the other day and muffed the punt. If Kwamie Lassiter was back there, and I have not seen him play special teams, I don't think he muffs the punt. He's not a roster mover, right? But I think that Kwamie Lassiter has the potential on the 2023 team. I think Kwamie Lassiter probably makes the team. I think that he is a guy that could be one of these versatile guys that ends up sticking on someone's practice squad, gets on the field for a chance in the NFL, and makes the roster. I don't think that happens in Kansas City, but worth rooting for. Played at a local school. I prefer Mizzou, but it's always worth rooting for a guy who went to Kansas. Anyway, guys, that is what I have for this video. Just a random injury inclusion signing for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.